Hey guys, welcome back to the land of books and movies. And I'm back to my regular format of a book and a movie. And after several months and over 1,000 pages, I finally bring you Battlefield Earth, the accidental science fiction comedy from L. Ron Hubbard, founder of the Church of Scientology, which is going down in history as a Holly Weird cult, and the author of Dianetics, the modern science of mental health, which was shot down by the American Psychiatric Association. Battlefield Earth was written in 82 and adapted to the screen in 2000. And as a science fiction movie, it got a lot of laughs for all the wrong reasons. It's loaded with tacky special effects, overacting, and when it comes to adapting what is in the book to what was included in the movie, it's even less than what could be called the Cliff's Notes. So, here goes nothing. This is a long one. What the book and the movie share is that a simple hunter gatherer in the year 3000 named Johnny Goodboy Tyler is abducted and enslaved by Turl and the other Cyclos stationed on Earth for the mining of gold. Turl decides to educate him, and Johnny uses this newfound knowledge to rally other humans to his side to fight back and destroy the Cyclo's home planet. There is one bump in the road when Turl takes Chrissy hostage, but they outsmart and imprison Turl. And an exception is made for Kerr, who turncoated and joined the human side. That's the movie content from within the book. What is movie only is the societal idea of greeners, which is like a derogatory title for someone looking for the greener grass on the other side, which is what it's a name that gets thrown at Johnny one time for just wanting more than to just, exist and duck the Cyclos. Anyway, now for what is book only and get comfortable, but please give me a little grace. I'm trying to summarize over 1,000 pages from memory here. First off, according to the book illustrations and fan art, the Cyclos don't look like discount Trekkie convention Klingons. They average about 9 feet tall and several hundred pounds. They are furry yet well dressed. It makes me kind of think of high fashion Wookiees, whereas some other sources have described them as upright felines. Anyway, once Turl has Johnny by his side doing everything he's told, he gets complacent and frequently drunk. The Cyclo favorite, known as Kerbango, isn't just food. It's also an inebriate and an opiate, whatever, and it makes Turl lazy and careless with Johnny, who starts building up the human resistance right under his nose. First with the locals, right where Turl found him in what was left of Denver. And now they are on their way to Scotland. And in Scotland, Turl wants Johnny to recruit at least 50 men, man animals, for work. And Johnny goes above and beyond and recruits all 83 survivors in Scotland, including Robert the Fox, who in the movie is a local. Also joining Johnny at this stage of the campaign are some Norsemen. The next stop to find more man animals takes them to Africa, but there are complications. A local tribe in Africa called the Brigantes were oppositional to Johnny and his growing army, and there were scuffles between, Johnny and his group and Brigantes and Cyclos. There was also one character, I can't recall whether it was a human or a Cyclo. He was called Brown Limper Staffer, and he was well read about Hitler, just enough to admire him as a political leader and military strategist, with a willful blindness to him being a genocidal dictator. There was also one of the first many uprisings where Johnny tried to ambush Turl by hiding inside a coffin and attacking him with his kill club that he used for hunting. And Johnny is injured and his life is saved in a way that he did not know was possible. emergency life-saving brain surgery. As a side note, there's some terminology in Battlefield Earth that seems definitely denotes how kind of primitive humans have backpedaled in the 1,000 years between now and 3,000. You see words like kill club, which is how they hunt, and you see descriptions for features like mouth bones, which I assume are teeth, eye bones, which I assume are eyelashes or eyelids. Makes me think of when my son was about 2 and he didn't know the proper terminology for skin yet, and he said he spilled some almond milk on his naked baby. Anyway, back to Battlefield Earth. As these advances and gains continue throughout the story, so too do the conditions of the humans. Their clothing evolves from buckskin tatters to proper clothes, even elaborate military garb. They learn to utilize military bases and fallout shelters like the one in the third Terminator movie that are still littered with the mummified remains of the last military and government VIPs to die in them after the initial Cyclo invasion. They also start to initiate a system of currency with Johnny Goodboy Tyler's face on the money. There's also a lot of storytelling from the point of view of the Cyclos, particularly Turl and Kerr. Turl hates his assignment on Earth, just like he does in the movie. There are titles that kind of make me think of the Power Rangers. It seems kind of, like kid showish. Like Your Planet Ship. There's talk of galactic corporatism and, of course, leverage, lots of leverage. But no, not once in those 1,000 pages did Turl say that when you were just learning how to spell your name, I was being trained to conquer galaxies. That's real cute, though. Kerr does have a bit of a sympathetic backstory. At 7 feet tall, he's considered a midget cyclo. And at birth, he was discarded as the runt of the litter and had to navigate the back alley of cyclo life to survive. He made his way to Turtle's side, and the rest is history, but he's not like other cyclos, and there's an explanation why. While in Africa, Johnny and Kerr took the body of a slain cyclo and dissected it. When they got to the brain, they found something interesting. Electronic implants in the brain, like computer chips, that made them ruthless and sadistic and power hungry. They also discovered that when the breathe gas in their masks came in contact with radioactive substance, an explosion happened. That gave Johnny the idea to pack coffins full of radioactives and other flammables that Turl took back with him to the Cyclo planet through the travel portal, letting him think he packed them full of gold. More traveling took them to Eastern Europe, where Johnny brought the Russians to the human cause, and then on to China, where he discovered and brought to his side Tibetan monks. And during all this, we haven't forgotten about Chrissy. She was leveraged as a hostage by Turl to keep Johnny in his place, along with her little sister Patty in the book. And after he brought the Scots to his side, she and Patty stayed in Scotland and they just kind of held down the fort. Okay, so back to having united all of the world against the Cyclos, and having the explosives in place on the Cyclo home planet. Blowing it up and killing off Turl and the planet ship and the evil Cyclos was the easy part. There was another shoe about to drop. And there's a little bit of coaching from the Star Wars prequels. There is an intergalactic banking race of humanoid sharks called the Salachis that meet with Johnny to call in the debt on planet Earth, taken out by the Cyclos hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now that there's no Cyclo leadership left who can be dunned on that loan, the Salachis look to the humans to collect. Now the remaining balance is huge. It's in the quadrillions. It looks like hope is still just out of reach. And the humans and Earth just traded one intergalactic evil master for another. But all was not lost. They found Turl's female companion and personal assistant named Shirk, and she located the records that Turl had been hiding. He had paid off that loan a long time ago, and he hid the receipts so that when he found himself in the right position, with no other cyclo above him, he could claim Earth and all its gold as 100% his and his alone. And he did have a way with leverage. So now, the humans and the other alien races that come and go coexist in peace. And the Salachi tells Johnny a little story. It's the backstory of the Cyclo uprising. The Cyclos we saw in the book and the movie were not always so high and mighty. They were originally the carny folk trailer trash of their race. But once they were being experimented on with electrodes in the brain, they found intellect and cunning and ambition they never had before, and they rose up to the detriment of the other alien races around them and humans. And there is also an epilogue detailing Johnny becoming the leader of the new free world and humans and his face on money. He's the name of legends and all the benefits, and he and Chrissy are raising a family. But Johnny is troubled. His son can speak 15 languages and has all the advanced human and cyclo mathematics committed to memory, but he doesn't feel he has truly educated his son. He takes him back to the ruins of Denver and teaches him how to hunt with a kill club, just like old times. And in his travels, Johnny Goodboy Tyler becomes a legend. And that is the real Cliff Notes on Battlefield Earth. Thank you for joining me again this week. Please do all the necessary points and clicks to help keep me going, and I'll see you next book and movie.